While this podcast isn't rated explicit, the content may not be suitable for younger listeners. Welcome to Sex for Saints, the Christian couple's guide to great sex. I am your host, certified sex and marriage coach, Amanda Lauder. This is episode 331, Are Your Teens Interrupting Your Sex Life? Welcome to Sex for Saints, a podcast for Christian couples. My goal with this podcast is to help enlighten, educate, and inspire you to understand yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality better. I talk about sex in a way you probably haven't heard before. I'm bold, I'm direct, but I keep everything in line with my strong Christian values. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the podcast. Quite often, I get DMs or emails from listeners and followers asking me how to navigate their sexual relationship with teens in the house. So here's a recent DM I received on Instagram. It said, I love listening to your podcast, but I often hear you speak about how hard it is to find time for sex when we have young children that take her attention. It always seems to be geared towards couples with young kids, and I find that our sex life is minimal because we have teenagers. I have found that my husband finds it way more difficult to be intimate when there are teenagers around the home. It's not as easy to just disappear for a moment together without them wondering where we are and understanding it. We often find ourselves having to wait until 1 o'clock in the morning when they're finally in bed and we can feel comfortable enough to be intimate at a level where we can actually enjoy it. Most nights, it's so exhausting to wait until they're fast asleep. If it happens, it always seems to be very quick and fast, and I'm living in a stage of ongoing quickies. So in response to this DM and other questions and messages that I get about this, I thought I'd address those midlife couples, specifically with teenagers and or young adults in the house, and the challenges we face during this period of our life, as well as how to navigate them. So one of the biggest challenges with this age group is working around their schedules. So teenagers and young adults often have very busy lives with school, extracurricular activities, social events, and part-time jobs. And it can feel like you're constantly in a juggling act trying to find time for sex. So one of the couples that I coach would schedule sex on Wednesday nights when their daughter was at her church youth group activity. Maybe your teen has soccer practice every Tuesday and Thursday evening. That could be a great opportunity for you and your partner to carve out some intimate time together. So planning around these known schedules can help ensure you have some uninterrupted moments. You might also find that there are certain times of the day when your house tends to be quieter, such as mid-morning, or if they're at school, or late afternoon before everyone gets home. Another tip is to sync your calendars. Have a family calendar where everyone writes down their commitments. This not only helps you plan for alone time, but also keeps the family organized. So if you notice your child has a weekend camping trip, that's a golden opportunity for you to plan a romantic evening or even a weekend getaway. The second thing is the dreaded walk-in. So the fear of your child walking in on you can be a very significant deterrent. We've all heard the horror stories or maybe even experienced them ourselves. So it's important to take precautions to minimize this risk. So consider installing a lock on your bedroom door if you don't already have one. This simple step can provide a very real sense of security and prevent accidental walk-ins. I actually had someone tell me that they had a child pick the lock so they could come in when they were locked out. And I was like, okay, we need to have way more conversations about boundaries. We do not pick our lock for our parents' bedroom if we want to come in. And if they're little or bigger, whatever, putting deadbolts or locks up high that cannot be picked might be a good option. So with that, another tip is to establish boundaries with your children about knocking on the door before just walking in. Explain to them that everyone deserves privacy, and this applies to both their room and yours. You can also use physical barriers, such as putting a chair or a small piece of furniture in front of the door if you need to make sure that it doesn't open easily. Another idea is to create a signal system. So, maybe putting a do not disturb sign on the door can serve as a very clear indicator that privacy is needed. This not only helps prevent interruptions, but also teaches your kids about respecting personal space, which I think is really important. The third is the noise factor. So this is another one that's really a big concern for a lot of people, is that your kids might hear you. Houses have thin walls and late night sounds can easily travel, and this can be a really significant source of anxiety for many of you, making it really difficult to just fully relax and enjoy the experience. So one practical solution is to use a white noise machine or a fan in your room and theirs to help mask any sounds. I think about at therapist's office and how everybody has the white noise machines outside their doors. It does block a lot of the sound. Additionally, timing your intimate moments for times when there's a little bit more ambient noise in the house, such as when the kids are watching TV or playing music, can also help. I have a friend who turns on a movie that she knows her teens will watch and then just slips out, often very unnoticed. You could also get really creative with the location. So if your bedroom is too close to theirs or to the family room or something, consider other spots in the house that might offer more privacy and noise insulation. For example, if you have a basement or a guest room that's further away from the kids' rooms, these could be better options. One of my clients, who tends to be a little bit more adventurous, which I love, she and her husband built a sex room in the basement, and it not only has a regular lock, not just a regular lock, but a lock that you have to use a fingerprint to go inside. So their kids can't just go in whenever they want to. It's only fingerprinted for the two of them. So, and it's just away from everything else in the house, which is a really great idea. All right, number 4 is late night conversations. So teenagers and young adults often want to talk late at night. And these heart-to-heart conversations are really crucial for building strong relationship with your kids, but they can also eat into your private time with your partner. So it's really important to balance these moments. So set aside specific times for these late night chats so they don't completely derail your plans if possible. I like to designate, certain nights of the week as family talk time. So allow other evenings to be more flexible for you and your partner. Also encourage your kids to communicate their needs to talk in advance if possible. If they know they want to have a serious conversation, they can let you know earlier that evening, allowing you to manage your time better. This way you can still have those important discussions without sacrificing your private time. Hey listeners, are you loving the tips and insights from Sex for Saints? Want to apply them to your own life? Join my Embrace You Elite Society membership. In this exclusive membership, you'll get access to personalized coaching, practical tools, and a supportive community of women, all working towards enhancing their intimate lives. Ready to take your intimacy to the next level? Visit amandalauder.com and join today. Let's embrace a more fulfilling and intimate life together. Now back to the show. All right, number 5 is waiting until they're asleep. So many parents find themselves waiting until their kids are asleep before they feel comfortable. And this often results in very rushed or less satisfying experiences, like the person who DM'd me, because everyone's just exhausted by then. So one way to address this is to shift your mindset about when sex can happen. Who says it has to be late at night when you're exhausted? I think you should be looking for opportunities during the day, like a lunch break or early evening when the kids are preoccupied with their own activities. Also consider weekend mornings when the kids are going to sleep in. Getting up a little bit earlier than usual can provide a window of time together without the pressure of late night exhaustion. So the way that I answered this DM, I think is really important. And I think it's important to address here. the underlying issue with all of this is, why is it a problem if your kids know that you're having sex? So often this comes from feelings of shame or embarrassment. Society has long portrayed sex as a taboo topic, especially within the context of parenthood. But here's the thing. Modeling a healthy sexual relationship is one of the best things that you can do for your kids. So by demonstrating that sex and intimacy is a normal and important part of a loving relationship, you provide them with a realistic and positive view of what healthy marriage looks like. This doesn't mean you need to share explicit details, but just be open about the fact that you and your partner value and nurture your relationship. You might explain that just like your kids have hobbies and activities and time with friends that are important to them, you and your partner also have things that are important to maintain a strong bond, and you need alone time together. Normalize the idea that sex is a vital part of marriage and that it's something to be respected, not hidden away in shame. So if they happen to hear you, they can go put on some music, watch a show, take a walk, whatever they need to do. Let's say your teenager asks why the bedroom door was locked. A simple, "Mom and Dad need some private time together," can suffice. This not only respects their maturity, but also sets a precedent for their future relationships. Another way to model a good sexual relationship is by showing affection openly, but appropriately. So hugging, kissing, and holding hands in front of your kids shows them that physical affection is a natural and loving part of a relationship. This can help them understand that intimacy is not just about sex, but about connection and affection as well. So as you can imagine, we talk fairly openly at our house about sex, and my husband and I do our best to model a good, healthy marriage and sexual relationship for them. Now, we don't share details, but our kids are well aware that we have sex and that we both enjoy it. By modeling this, our kids feel more open to ask questions and understand that a good sexual relationship is an important part of a good marriage. Hey there, listeners. Exciting news. I'm opening up a few spots for one-on-one coaching again, and I'm thrilled to work with both men and women this time. If you're looking to transform your intimacy and relationships, this is your chance. Our coaching journey will span 12 weeks, giving us the time and space to make real, impactful changes. Interested? Head over to my website for more information and to secure your spot. Don't wait too long. These spots will fill up fast. Let's work together to create the relationship you've always dreamed of. Now back to the podcast. I've shared this story before, but I think it's worth sharing again. A few years ago, my 15-year-old daughter came home late one night after being out with her friends, and she knocked on the door to let us know that she was home while we were in the middle of things. I yelled through the door that I'm glad she was home and good night. And she said, "Wait, I need to talk to you." And I told her she'd have to wait and that it would be a little bit before I could come out. Well, she literally waited right by the door. But that didn't stop things. We finished what we were doing. I put on my robe and I came out of my bedroom. And she looked at me and said, "So, did you have fun?" And I replied wholeheartedly, "Yes, I did." Now, the reason I love this story is because, number one, it models a good sexual relationship. She knows that I enjoyed myself, which is a good thing. It's not something I do just for him, but something I enjoy for myself as well. Number two, it shows boundaries. I didn't stop in the middle of things to cater to her. I put my husband and our marriage first. And number three, it also shows how a good mindset around sex can counteract something that might normally be a sexual break. Even though she interrupted, even though she was still standing outside of the door, that didn't stop us. We were able to continue going because of our mindsets around sex. So if you find yourself having sexual breaks, feeling embarrassed or even ashamed if your teenagers or young adults know that you're having sex or can hear you, this is the perfect thing for you to be working on coaching. Changing your mindset around this can be a game changer. And it can just help you feel more comfortable so that when your teens and young adults interrupt, it actually doesn't interrupt anything. I have personally never had a problem with this, and I believe it's because of my mindset and lack of shame. Now, earlier in my life, I think I definitely would have had a problem because of my mindset around sex and all the shame I had about my sexuality, but luckily I worked on that and cleared it up before I had teenagers. So managing your sexual relationship with teenagers or young adults in the house requires a mix of practical strategies and a shift in mindset. By planning around their schedules, setting boundaries, using noise-making techniques, and having open conversations, you can create a healthy and respectful environment for sex and intimacy. Remember, modeling a positive sexual relationship is one of the most powerful lessons you can teach your children. It shows them that love, connection, and intimacy and sex are vital components of a happy, healthy marriage. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, love is a journey, not a destination. Stay committed, stay passionate, and stay connected. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Like what you're hearing on this podcast? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to leave me a review and share it with your friends.